Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today we are looking at the other bit of rolling stock that comes with the West Coast Mainline Trent Valley route by All Aboard Studios, which released about a week ago now, and I haven't made a video on it since the 807, apologies for that. So yeah, we're doing a full run down the route from Crewe down to Milton Keynes Central, and then this service is also playable in the Evero timetable on West Coast Mainline South from Milton Keynes Central down to Euston. So, yeah, let's actually get moving here. There's actually a new running sounds on this unit, which are quite nice. So yeah, let's unlock the doors. Find the safeties. So we need you, and you, and then TPWS isolated. I know I normally have it on, but
TWS and AWS operational.
There is currently a bug where sometimes the TPWS just emergency brakes the train without authorization, without any meaning to. Also, you see the EMT class 158 back there. That is one of the units that's going to be affected by tomorrow's patch. As I'm recording this, there's been a new announcement of a huge, and I do mean huge, patch coming to Trains and World. So here's Crewe, West Coast Mainline. We're on the Trent Valley line. This state. So yeah, we basically have three different versions of Crewe now. Well, by Thursday we'll have three different versions of Crewe. We have the 1955 version of Crewe, thanks to Spirit of Steam. We will have the 1986 version with WCML Crewe Preston once that releases on Thursday, which I'm really much looking forward to. And then we have the 2019 and 2025 versions of Crewe, thanks to Birmingham Crewe and WCML Trent Valley. So yeah, I'll probably do the windows just so you can hear the new sounds which are on this unit. Hopefully they'll get backported to the Birmingham Crewe Stroke 2 and Stroke 3, but we'll see. Oh, almost forgot the DRA. Yeah, GSMR is already set. Passenger door has become stuck. Which one? This one. Alright, there we go.
For your own safety.
Come on, close, buddy. Thank you. Oh, come on. That's our second passenger door full. Are you serious? Alright, let's see. Will the doors close properly? Okay, yeah,
London,
next.
Euston. We'll be calling at Stafford, Rugeley, Trent Valley, Lichfield, Trent Valley, Tenwell, Atherstone, Nuneaton, Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London, Euston.
Okay, so yeah, you heard where we'll be calling today.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
So yeah, this is one uniform 3-2 Crewe to Euston, stopping at Crewe, Stafford, Rugeley, Trent Valley, Lichfield, Trent Valley, Tamworth, Atherstone, Nuneaton, Rugby, and Milton Keynes Central, and then continuing on to Euston off this route.
To a member of staff or text us on 61016 and you'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
First see it, say it, sorted of the day, but let's once we get out into the main line, let's start running these patch notes, because they are extensive, like really extensive. Yeah. It's hard to believe that once Crewe Preston releases, we'll have a continuous stretch of the West Coast Main Line all the way from Euston up to Carlisle in two different eras, mind you, but still, which will be over 300 miles long and would probably take around 5 to 6 hours to complete, depending on what kind of service you're doing. Horn is the same. Okay, up to 80 miles an hour. It's actually, before I forget, let's just check. I am actually recording. Sometimes I've forgotten to hit the record button, so it's worth a check. Oh, and I should probably make sure. There we go. So yeah, shut Windows. Oh. Okay. Ooh, Rail Operations Group, Class 37 idling away over there. I believe that has a couple of services. I've got all layers active apart from Birmingham to Crewe in the Class 220. Even though I own the Class 220, it doesn't show up due to a bug at the moment with Birmingham Crewe. Basically, if you don't have Birmingham to Crewe and have the Class 220, the Class 220 doesn't show up, which is a bit of an issue. But anyway, in the core game there have been a couple of fixes. Fixed an issue where players were unable to exit from the passenger seat unless it was the initial seat they were occupying. Evero. Neat. 807, I think. And then the other core change is optimization to loading system for textures to avoid crashes if some information is loaded before it is needed. So that'll be very good for initial loading issues, just to prevent any shenanigans with, you know, presumably consoles crashing because they're trying to load too much memory. Hopefully that should help with that. Wonder if that will fix the console crashes that are currently afflicting this route. Trent Valley has had quite a good launch on PCs, but definitely consoles have been experiencing issues with blurry textures and crashes, so we'll see if that helps. Then there's been some UK add-on audio updates. So there's been changes to, and this is so there have been audio changes to the Class 805 Avanti, the Class 86/2 Mark 2F coaches, the Class 220 Voyager, East Coastway Remastered, the East Coastway Class 313, Great Western Express Remastered, Great British Railways Class 802, HST Farewell Tour Pack, Manchester Airport Commuter, Medway Valley Line, Riviera Line, Southern Class 171 and Class 377/3, Transport for Wales Class 142 Pacer, West Coast Mainline Trent Valley, West Coast Mainline Crewe to Preston, Birmingham to Crewe, and the West Midland and Cross Country Class 170. Yeah, unfortunately, no one's made a branding pad for this unit yet, even though it does have LNWR branding in real life. So yeah, all of those above add-ons that I just listed are having audio changes done to them, but it's not specified what audio changes they are. Next up, and also this patch is coming tomorrow, the day I'm recording this. Next up, we are getting the Class 90 fixes we have been waiting for over 3 months, almost 3 months. The Class 90, if you remember, was an absolute atrocity when it originally released, and hopefully these this plethora of fixes will do some, effort toward fixing the shenanigans. How's my frame rate? 50 FPS, not bad. So yeah, added new audio for wipers, updated audio for track and running sounds, blower sounds, HVAC, cab occlusion, along with refinement to minor sounds throughout the train, improved DSD pedal behavior across all input methods. All Class 90 liveries should now spawn correctly in free roam mode. Throttle no longer jerks when emergency brake is applied. Parking brakes can no longer be engaged or released while moving. ETH cables no longer incorrectly connect when running in tandem. Corrected the ladder animation at cab entrances. Updated incorrect AWS behavior. Updated updates to physics throughout the train to ensure correct behavior. Updated the speed set functionality so the train doesn't accelerate indefinitely. Fixed physics issues around the AWS, TP, WS, and DSD systems. Fixed issue where running in flange sound stopped playing when adjusting the throttle. Fixed issue where the loco would not require throttle reset after DSD intervention. Fixed gaps that were appearing in the back wall of the Class 90 cab. Fixed the brake release behavior so the brakes no longer release automatically when coming to a stand. Fixed incorrect references in the faults system. Removed the incorrect orange OTDR box from the Freightliner cab variants. And various localization updates. So yeah, quite an extensive patch list for the Class 90. Hopefully that actually does go some way toward fixing it, because oh my goodness, it is probably the worst add-on that has ever released. Like even really bad products like Skyhook's BR187 or Athena's Class 47 Eisenbahn Kingdom Brunel or S-Bahn Zentralschweiz really pale in comparison to the absolute atrocity which is the Class 90. So hopefully that'll go some way toward fixing the problem. So yeah, we're running direct Stafford, no stops. So yeah, this bit of the route was actually recycled from Birmingham to Crewe, I believe. And then once we leave Stafford and diverge onto the Trent Valley line, we should start seeing, that's when we get into the new scenery for this route. And then some updates for the Expert BR145 by Trainsim Germany, and there is a lot of fixes for the 145, including one which I've been begging for since release. Added full brake and half brake warning stickers that appear when a brake is cut out at spawn. Added new FT95 pages, contrast control, bitmap destination support, and the ability to disable flip-dot LEDs on on the screens, I would presume. Added keine MVB Verbindung status message. Added permanent brake cutout stickers that appear when a wagon spawns with a disabled brake. Added delays to prevent race conditions, so stickers always appear correctly. Oh boy. Yeah, there's some of this stuff I have no idea. I have no idea what this does. Added machine room audio when doors/windows are open, which is cool. Added full suspension physics. Yes, the Expert 145 now has suspension physics I've been begging for since release. That was one of the things that was really missing with the Expert 145. It launched without dynamic suspension. Oh, there's a Class 66 with a tail lamp on the front. Lovely. Then added collision to brake equipment module to prevent clipping. Added driver assist prompts for traction lock caused by indirect brake and for stuck distributed valves, but that is Expert mode only. Added missing real-world freight, tanker grain, and coupling services, I presume in the Leipzig to Dresden Expert timetable. Added correct pantograph up behavior for auto, wagon, tank, and trailer trains. Improved brake squeal, brake hiss, traction cues, and wind effects. Improved routing at Leipzig, Engelsdorf, and Borsdorf. Improved automatic brake overcharge behavior. Improved train brake plus dynamic brake coupling to prevent lever desync. That was also another thing. Due to, yeah, like, I would, I'd be using the electric brake and train brake in sync, and then suddenly they would just disconnect from each other for no reason. And then I'd be stuck using each one individually for the rest of the run instead of them operating in tandem as in real life. So hopefully that will fix the issue. So lever desync, that was the other major bug with the 145 that I was encountering. Improved indirect brake traction lock behavior to match real operation. Corrected translation, special destinations, and font issues. Corrected brake pipe hiss direction on the SGG MRSS and SDG MRSS twin units. Adjusted timings around Dresden Friedrichstadt to reduce delays. Startup services moved earlier to allow realistic brake tests. So that's cool. So now services that require a cold and dark start actually now give you enough time to perform a brake test, which is really cool. Pantograph bounding box fixed, so the raised panto is now visible from all angles. RBH variant windows, so the blue one, now animate correctly when opened, including in rain. Livery designer now includes the correct grey lower body strip and snow mask. Restored external alert sounds. Hopefully they could do that for the Expert 101 as well, because the Expert locomotives seem to have a problem with no external alerts playing. So hopefully that's seemingly gotten fixed on the 101. Let's see, on the 145, sorry. Let's hope that gets fixed on the 145. And improved rolling noise between 30 and 90 kilometers an hour. ZA CNS wagons now support hydrochloric acid cargo. Main reservoir gauge now displays the correct pressure source. Pantograph switch now drops the pantograph and opens the MCB, main circuit breaker, if opening while moving, if operated while moving, sorry. Train number entry now auto pads correctly. V equals 0 and V is greater than 0 buttons now open the latest fault help text. Let's turn the power off and let the train come back toward 105. That's absolutely zooming along. This is the longest service in LNWR's roster. The crew to London Euston. And now we can play it fully, which is pretty cool. Display data now clears correctly when both ISG LSS switches are open. Updated BR145 thumbnails in menus and livery designer. NVP variant now appears in free roam, so the Nachwerkerspaket version with the passenger information screen. That's what I was. That was another thing that I noticed: the lack of passenger information screen equipped 145s like running S-Bahn services around Dresden. Shunting under HL dwarf signals at Leipzig-Engelsdorf is now fully supported. BR145 timetable updated so coupling and shunting behave logically in yards. Wagons now simulate stuck distributor valves. Repeated rapid brake applications trigger a driver assist warning in expert mode. Updated cab alert sounds with new samples. Updated final stop location for DGS 99766 to prevent out of bounds completion. I think that was one of the ones I actually played at the end of the service. That for some reason the service routed the train into a siding with no overhead wires, so the train power cut out, but I actually managed to get to my destination anyway by coasting. It was pretty funny that happened on my first look video for the 145. Looks as though we have another Evero coming through. A single Class 805. I will get back to the Class 805. There are a couple of fixes for it, I believe. 3 miles to Stafford, by the way. Yeah, it's really hurts my soul that I had to cut out the TPWS, but hey, if that means I won't get randomly emergency braked, I'll take it. Fixed horn end sound not playing, it improved Doppler and spatialization. Fixed regressions affecting rolling sounds in cab ambience. It's actually cut the power, got 2.5 miles. Fixed missing hiss audio on SD GGMRSS angle cocks. Fixed load logic for DGS 95607 so the train responds with realistic weight over 800 tons. Let's start braking. Oh. Okay, that was just warning me of the speed reduction. 2 miles to go. Fixed services spawning on unelectrified track. That was one of my major complaints. Fixed multiple AI SPAD issues like 41345, 31708, and 45300. Fixed duplicate or incorrect service names. Fixed unreachable score criteria in 2 scenarios, which for some reason are just called A and C. Don't know what's going on there. On the brakes, coming up on Stafford. Yeah, that's one good thing about the 350. It does have excellent brakes. Fixed incorrect AI pathing and missing end service nodes. Fixed AI SPAD on DGS 99766 spawn. Fixed incorrect train data entry in expert simply delivered. So now the VMZ now is in 100 mode.
Stafford, please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Right. Gradually slow down. We've got 1.5 minutes, probably more than enough. Just make sure we're below that 25 limit. Don't have to worry about TPWS because I've deliberately switched it off, but hey, it's really annoying that I had to do that. Because I've tried to record this video before and got stuck with stupid, emergency brakes for no reason. Fixed signaler's call in the interesting development scenario so it plays from the correct cab. Fixed battery voltage needle behavior in both player-controlled and AI states. Fixed Pisa beat behavior including 1000 Hz, indicator time, acknowledge audio, and restricted mode callouts, and that's the last one I'll do until we stop at Stafford.
This is Stafford. Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. The next stop will be Rugeley Trent Valley.
Welcome to Stafford. So, wow, is that a 12 coach? Is that a 12? Yeah, that is a 12 coach service. Wow. You don't see that every day. So right, we've got another minute here. Gives me enough time to finish off these Expert 145 patch notes. Fixed LZB Prüfenstörung light behavior when isolated. Fixed Pisa B input delay differences between push-pull actions. Fixed malfunction selection not updating on the WD page. And removed scenario trigger view from tutorials. So that's everything for the Expert 145. A pretty stacked patch notes list, and it has fixes for every single bug which I found with the Expert 145 and dynamic suspension. So rest assured, there will be a video of it coming on the channel relatively soon. That much I can promise. And now there's also a significant number of patch notes for the Just Trains Class 86/2 and Mark 2F coaches. Added rail driver support for all Class 86/2 livery variants. Oh, and another door fault. What is that, our third? Which one is it? Because this isn't... Oh, yeah, here you go. Okay, passenger door has been fixed. Come on, buddy. There we go. Next up, Rugeley Trent Valley.
Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. We'll be calling at Rugeley Trent Valley, Lichfield Trent Valley, Tamworth, Atherstone, Nuneaton, Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London Euston.
Alright, here we go. We got a 75 limit coming out of Stafford. Well, 25 down to 75. Oh, don't worry. I will. Added rail driver support for all Class 86/2 livery variants. Improved texture optimization to improve performance and stability.
This is British Transport Police. If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it. Say it. Sorted.
See it, say it, sorted counter is now up to 2. So yeah, the improved texture optimization on the Class 86, that is excellent news. Improved driving experience to be more consistent and accurate to the real world. Improved visuals and lighting for glass and wheel blur, along with long distance visibility improvements across Mark 1 and Mark 2 stock. Made instrument lights visible during the day. Headlights and marker lights are now brighter. Corrected axle height for the Class 86/2, updated the RVD for free roam, fixed wiper animation, fixed brake selector switch being labeled wrong, fixed an issue with the Mark 2Fs not appearing in Scenario Designer with custom liveries, and various updates to localization. Like, that's a pretty substantial patch notes list for the Class 86, and I'm really glad about optimization because, yeah, if I had one complaint to make about the 86 is that it didn't run the best in concurrence with Preston Carlisle. Hard to believe that add-on is now almost a year old. Like, time flies, eh? And now we come to the real meat of the patch notes. Like, you're thinking, oh wow, that's a lot of patch notes. Like the Class 90 and the 86 and the Expert 145 are all getting a ton of fixes. Oh, they're peanuts compared to what Blackpool Branches is getting. Blackpool Branches, ladies and gentlemen, is getting an entirely new timetable made from scratch by the Just Trains team, and it's a free update. Wow! Like, it's... sorry if I sounded a little bit excited, but this is what I've been waiting for with Blackpool branches ever since Preston Carlisle released, because one of my things I said at the time was, Just Trains, can you go back and add the electric stuff to Blackpool branches as AI around Preston? And they've only gone and done it, and not only including the Preston Carlisle stuff, they're also adding the Crew Preston and Class 86/2 stock as well, which is absolutely excellent. Right, up to 95 miles an hour. Yeah, I absolutely adore this route, by the way. All Aboard did a great job with optimization. Like, this is an enjoyable route to drive. A really, really enjoyable route to drive. Especially when you're doing an express service, it really finally gives the chance for the Pendolino to finally stretch her legs. Alright, let's leave it like notch 1. So yeah, so the main thing with this new timetable is that Blackpool to Euston services will now see their rolling stock switched to more accurate ones like the Mark IID, Mark IIe, Mark IIFs, which from Preston Crew and Preston Carlisle. Loco changes now feature at Preston. Oh, flashing double yellow. Okie dokie. Loco changes now feature at Preston for services changing from electric to diesel, and the Class 47/3 can now be driven on freight services. Ooh, I love those running sounds for this tunnel. That's pretty cool. Well, there's more track joints to that tunnel. Anyway, so there's an entire new... The main fix is obviously an entire new service timetable. Added new road vehicles across the route, which are the new ones that they've commissioned, that include, but are not limited to, a Ford Sierra, Leyland National buses, and other era-appropriate vehicles, which are very cool. Added grass to fields across the route. Added a missing player collision wall at Kirkham and Wesham Station Bridge. Added collisions to roads, crossings, and footpaths across the route to locations the player can access, meaning the player will now not walk through them, but over them. Oh, we're back to green. Lovely. Right, full speed. But I'll only go up to 65 because we do have that 65 approaching for that junction. Let's go notch 2. Added missing crop field at Wheaton Curve. Added Crew Preston route hopping at Preston. Added announcements at Blackpool North and Preston. Added new traffic on the M55 motorway at Wheaton Junction. Flat crossing. Oh, I love that squeak. I love that squeaking noise it makes when going over a junction. Added addition of new service mode to incorporate the newer stock from Preston to Carlisle. Addition of ambient audio and announcement changes. Improved footstep audio to roads, paths, and crossings the player can access route-wide. This is the first time we've heard of it. Well, the second time we've heard of it. The first we heard of it was in the Preston Crew development stream. Just Trains have done a fantastic job at keeping this quiet as a surprise for us, and I must say, thank you so much, Just Trains. I think this is going to I think this is definitely going to move Blackpool branches up my standings of my favourite routes, because without the West Coast Mainline Electric AI, it was beginning to feel a bit outdated, despite the pacer. So hopefully, there's now more. Hopefully, we can start seeing more stock around. You know. Yeah, we're now at 75 all the way to Rugeley Trent Valley. I thought it was originally pronounced Rugeley Trent Valley. No, it isn't. It's pronounced with a soft G, apparently. Moved the out of boundaries collision box from the Bernays branch to beyond Jameson Road Bridge, so we can actually go a little farther at the Bernays branch now. Pretty cool. Correct audio applied to roads, crossings, and footpaths across the route to locations the player can access. Updated destination boards. So presumably this is in the pacer, but it isn't specified, to add destinations for Crew to Preston. So that means the pacer now has destinations for Blackpool branches, Preston Carlisle, West Cornwall Local, Tees Valley Line, Northern Transpennine, and Crew Preston. That's 3 different routes with announcements and 6 routes with destination board support. That's insane! Updated localization throughout the route and fixed an issue where there are red signals whilst waiting for station objectives to clear at Blackpool North. So yeah, Blackpool branches is really, really beginning to get, like, yeah, this is going to make Blackpool branches, like, one of the best routes in the game again, like, genuinely.
We are now approaching Rugeley Trent Valley. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the Stroke 1 is also playable on this route from West Coast Mainline South. However, it can only do services from Milton Keynes Central to Rugby and back, I believe, representing services to Birmingham New Street, unfortunately. Which is a bit of a shame, but hey. Well, I'm talking about Trent Valley, of course. Oh, that was a bit too slow. Alright.
This is Rugeley Trent Valley. Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. The next stop will be Lichfield Trent Valley.
Yeah. Okay, I have actually been recording this entire time. Good. So yeah, Lichfield Trent Valley, you can route hop to the Birmingham Cross City, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, though, the West Midlands Class 730 that in real life operated, Cross City line services by now is not represented. All we can use is the only appropriate stock is the West Midlands 323, which is not really era appropriate for this time period, but hey. It is what it is. If we ever get a Class 730, all aboard can put the work in to add that. So yeah, now we have some patch notes for one of my favourite routes in the game, Preston Carlisle. If we get another door fault again, I'm going to lose it. Yay! We didn't get a stupid door.
TSW6 and AWS.
Pendo. Oh boy. Right. Full speed, next stop, Lichfield Trent Valley in 8 miles. Full speed.
Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. We'll be calling at Lichfield Trent Valley, Tamworth, Atherstone, Nuneaton, Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London Euston.
Alright. So on Preston Carlisle, rail...
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
See if the See It Say It sorted plays. Probably will.
This is British Transport.
Right on
Police.
cue.
If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
Lovely. Right, so rail singing has been added to Preston Carlisle. Well, this patch is coming out tomorrow, so it will be added to Preston Carlisle. Rail driver support has been added to all the different Class 87 variants. Optimize the texture setup to save memory usage, which will be great for me and people on especially people on console. Adjustments to headlights and marker light brightness for the Class 87, so hopefully we can actually see at night now. Because, yeah, I don't really do any night services on Preston Carlisle, because those headlights at night on those old electrics are terrible. Absolutely terrible. Instrument lights on the Class 87 are now visible during the day. Improved substitution for the Mark 2A, Mark 3A, 47/4 and Mark 1s. AI services, including the broken service, should now have passengers in the broken down scenario. 4 men should now be correctly hidden when the player returns on Currick collection scenario. Passengers should now enter Carlisle station correctly. Updated localization throughout the route. Updated the collision on the Class 87 so you can access the brake controls correctly. Updated the Intercity logo so it is now correct. Improved the headlight intensity on the Class 87, very good. Fixed lighting on the Mark 3 coaches so it's now a bit of a warmer glow. Fixed suspension sounds not playing frequently enough on the Mark IIIs. Fixed the custom liveries not being available in Formation Designer. Fixed wipers stopping animation near to the player for the Class 87. Fixed the FFA and FGA container wagons giving excessive rebound upon braking or shut-off. I do actually remember that. When Preston Carlisle's was originally released, I was doing a container service over Shap down toward Preston, and I had to use the train brake because the locomotive brake would just cause the FFA and FGA wagons to just bounce the Class 87s forward and basically make the loco brake useless. It's hard to explain if you haven't seen the footage, but yeah, I believe I caught it on camera. Fixed FFA wagon wheels not spinning. That's fixed passengers spawning on top of a car at Carlisle. That's very funny. Fixed several broken walls and hedges around the T-Bay and Shap areas, and removed a telegraph post that was placed within a bridge at Little Strickland. Passengers spawning on top of a car in Carlisle is very funny, I have to say. 4 miles to Litchfield, Trent Valley. We will get overtaken by Pendolinos quite a bit today, I imagine. Next up, we have some patch notes for West Coast Mainline South. It's not really extensive, but hey, I'm glad to see at least some updates for it. Added a route hop marker at Milton Keynes Central, allowing players to transition to West Coast Mainline Trent Valley from the footbridge. Adjusted platform settings at Lake Buzzard and Harrow and Wealdstone to ensure NPCs disembark smoothly. Fixed an issue at Leighton Buzzard, so players now walk away from the train and move towards station exits instead of standing still like complete idiots. I added that last bit, by the way, that wasn't in the patch notes. Passengers now spawn and navigate correctly when starting on foot at Euston, and various localization updates throughout the route. Decent update for West Coast Mainline South. Now we have some updates from Medway Valley Line, but I do have to preface, these updates are for PC and Xbox only. PlayStation players, unfortunately, have been left out, and that is because there have been some audio updates to Medway Valley that have caused the audio issues with Medway Valley to reoccur again. So, yeah, unfortunately, this patch will be held on PlayStation until they can fix the audio issues that were present on the route on PS5 at launch but did get fixed, but now they've come back with this patch. So this patch is for PC and Xbox only until further notice. Added a rare new added a new rainbow weather feature, including a guaranteed appearance in the looking for trouble scenario. So yeah, if you've got the correct kind of weather, like for example stormy weather with large gaps in the clouds, that will cause rainbows to spawn in very, very certain scenarios and only certain
Litchfield, Trent Valley. Please mind the gap when leaving the train.
Okay, buddy, slow down.
Step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and push check.
Came a little fast in. There's a... Ooh, hello, what are you? Hey! There's a 323! Nice! Oops, slowed down a bit too much. There's actually a Class 153 ECS move which comes out of that siding now and goes up to Crewe if you have Cardiff City Network, which is quite interesting. And you can also use the Arriva Class 153 on that, even though it isn't error appropriate, so wonder why that is. Alright. Why are we late? This timetable's so tight, man. Oh boy. Break. Missed our... Oh, there's an Evero. Missed our stop marker.
Litchfield, Trent Valley. Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. The next stop will be Tamworth. Right,
okay. Added a new dispatcher mode at Tonbridge. So basically, if you spawn in on foot at Tonbridge and then pick up a baton, like a dispatcher baton from certain spots, from a certain spot at Tonbridge, you could become a dispatcher, and it puts you in dispatcher mode, which is pretty cool. So it isn't just locked to scenarios. Next stop, Tamworth in 6 miles. Probably, I should do like an external takeoff view at the next station.
Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. We'll be calling at Tamworth, Atherstone, Nuneaton, Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London Euston.
How's the frame rate doing? Almost 50 FPS with Lichfield Trent Valley loaded in. That's not bad.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
Up to 110, which is our top speed. I'll just wait for say it's sorted to play, which should happen any second now. 3, 2, 1.
This is British Transport.
I called it! That's pretty damn funny.
Speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
Oh yeah. I love these new running sounds, man. Anyway, on Medway, added interiors to remaining signal boxes, namely at East Farleigh, Aylesford and Snodland. Maidstone West signal box is now accessible. Track diagrams added to all signal box interiors, including the non-accessible ones. Added Rochester Bridge feature lighting, seasonal hay rolls, new signage, pedestrian crossing audio, fictional rail branding, animated pedestrians and telegraph pole cabling. Added missing Gilliam signal feather positions, route hop support at Tonbridge. Improved route visuals, including tunnels, terrain, sleepers, line-side fencing, flats near Maidstone West, and Rochester disused station lighting. Updates to audio throughout the route, including air, bellow, brake, hiss, flange, gearbox, traction motors, transformer, and VVVF. But yeah, I think that is what's causing the issues on PlayStation 5, those audio updates specifically, so bit of a shame really. Fixed floating track, terrain spikes, clipping issues, collision problems, NPC pathing, and collectible completion. Corrected Tonbridge West junction line speeds and level crossing sign localization. Updated Class 375/3 and /6 with guard panel interlock lights and missing bogie audio. Fixed an issue so all collectibles can now be collected. And various localization updates. So yeah, Firefly are working hard to make sure this patch will eventually be available on PlayStation 5 without breaking audio, train audio, so we will see how long that takes to happen. Next up, we have some patches for the HST Farewell Tour Pack, which is PC and Gen 9 only, I believe. They're still testing Gen 8 apparently for the HST Farewell Tour. It's astounding that, honestly, that the HST Farewell Tour even released on Gen 8 consoles to begin with. We'll aim to share these changes on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in our next update, planned later in June. Added unbranded Mark III coaches and improved naming clarity in Formation Designer. That just means my branding patches are going to need updating. Lovely. Added region tags enabling custom liveries to appear in the GWE timetable. Added rail driver support for the Farewell Tour HSTs. Added checks to make sure wiper states load correctly when resuming a save. Epilogue scenario no longer requires Great Western Express to be installed. Open day scenario fully playable with safety systems enabled. Improved LOD behavior to prevent low-quality texture flicker at distance. Improved horn volume and interior occlusion for the Class 43 and Mark III coaches. Fixed missing outer ring on the Ferris wheel mesh in the open day scenario. I think that's on Riviera. Fixed safety system triggering in both cabs after switching. Fixed AI incorrectly using night lights during daytime. I honestly hadn't noticed that. That's interesting. Updated RVDs.
We are now approaching Tamworth. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Precisely what I was about to say. Updated RVDs with new rail vehicle class and livery ID tags for free roam compatibility. So that presumably means the Farewell Tour livery should start spawning a bit more. Because I've only ever seen like a couple of Farewell Tour liveries spawning in as AI. Like, I believe I saw 43093 spawning without the old Oak Common livery applied in free roam on Great Western Express, which is very annoying that that was happening.
This is Tamworth. Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. The next stop will be Atherstone.
Nice. The Class 43 now spawns correctly in free roam. Corrected horn occlusion so interior cab audio behaves properly on the HST. Restored missing front coupler, EOTD, track joint, and flange squeal audio on the Class 43. Updated menu... Oh, Pendolino. Updated menu thumbnail for 43185, the intercity livery, to show the correct red stripe. Fixed missing audio on fuel cap interaction on the Class 43. Corrected texture issues in livery designer for the Mach 1 barrier coach. Fixed missing back-end livery names so the Mark 1 barrier coach now appears correctly in the formation designer. Fixed coupling behavior so it now connects properly to the HST Class 43 power cars for the Mach 1 barrier coach. Fixed an issue where the Mach 1 barrier coach was floating above the rails, and various localization updates. So a pretty substantial patch list for the HST pack, which is pretty good. That's one of my favorite DLCs. Next up, Midland Mainline fixes. Please no door faults. Oh, let's do this from an exterior view. Quick. Full speed. Next up, Atherstone, sorry. Alright. Wait a minute, do we have the same number at both ends? 35406, 354A, okay.
And London Euston.
Okay. So, next up we do have Midland Mainline, but I'll just wait for See It Sorted to play.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
So we've got a 90 limit and a 75 limit in quick succession. Just go up to 75.
British Transport Police. If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
That See It, Say It, Sorted drives me insane in real life, but in game I like hearing it because that adds an extra stamp of authenticity, if you know what I mean. What is that? Oh, hello! It's the Northern Class 323 on its ECS run-up from Wolverton to Crewe. Neat! Anyway, Midland Mainline patch notes. Should stop getting distracted. Updated station directory to correctly include cross-country destinations. Implemented new suspension physics, improving visible coach movement and ride feel on the EMT Class 43, which is pretty cool. Glad to see that we're finally getting suspension on the VP 185 HST. Implemented and refined suspension physics, improving ride quality and vehicle movement on the Class 158. So the Class 158 is getting suspension physics and the EMT HST is getting it as well. And then here's the patch note that is interesting me the most. Updated timetable to reference the nuclear Class 20. Is the Class 20, instead of just being static stock, is now that going to be playable? That's pretty cool. I presume some of these updates are to prepare the route for the new Freightliner Class 70 timetable that's coming for the route. We've got some patch notes for the Riviera line. Fixed an issue causing the LMS Jubilee 6P, causing the game to crash. Updated signaling logic on signal Delta Mike 208 at Teignmouth to allow permissive entry into the platform. And HST farewell tour power cars are now selectable on Riviera HST services, which I thought they already were, but maybe they got deleted or something, I don't know. Next up, we have some patch notes for Manchester Airport Commuter, which is Alan Thompson's other DLC, and has been plagued with signal issues for months now, so hopefully this fixes some. Fixed missing Liverpool Lime Street announcement. Slade Lane Junction fully rebuilt and corrected, fixing poorly laid junctions, missing points, and ensuring smoother running on the down fast. Oh, abandoned platform. Complete with abandoned waiting area. Wonder what happened. I have no idea what that station is called. Please let me know down in the comment section. Fixed floating position light signal at Stockport Viaduct. Long site depot signaling updated, including a corrected exit GPL signal so shunting moves can now be routed correctly, and various localization updates throughout the route. A couple of patches for West Coast Mainline Trent Valley. This route. All chapters of rail journeys for Trent Valley should now display their services correctly with no blank entries. Optimization improvements for materials and textures in the Class 807, and removed one Alpha 40 for the reduced timetable on Trent Valley under Class 807 services, which is somewhat interesting. I have no idea what that is. Hang on, I want to position this correctly so I can get a good screenshot, because I haven't gotten one yet, and I need to see if we can position that well. Yes, look at that. Very nice. Let's just change it up the field just to make sure everything... Oh, that's blurring the headlights. Nah. Okay, that works. That works. Okay. Also, I just want to check just to make sure I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Just a bit nervous. 3 miles to Atherstone. We've got one patch note for Birmingham to Crewe, various localization updates for the Class 802, so presumably this is both the Great Western Railway and Great British Railways Class 802s. Fixed an issue where the door sounds weren't playing for the correct places on the Class 220, the cross-country one. Added announcement for the Class 220 when approaching a termination station. That rhymes. On the ScotRail Class 380, reduced braking performance based on player feedback to better match expected behavior. And that's not surprising. It's surprising that it took them so long to do that, because the Class 380 under heavy braking before was insanely overpowered. It is probably one of the fastest accelerating units in this game, and braking. So, on the Tees Valley Class 31, updated the tank trouble scenario, so the scenario now ends after coupling to the train, removing the unnecessary detour to the staging yard. On the East Coast Mainline, updated the power controller notches on the LNWR Class 801 Azuma, so that only position 1 is a notched power step, and the rest of the notches have smooth transitions. Neat! Speaking of there's a Class 805, and followed shortly by a Class 350. Hello, fellow 350 driver. Yeah, I always thought the 350 in-game was a bit bland, but now I think I'm going to play it a lot more now that we've got this new sound set. On the Southern Class 171 and Class 377/3 pack, connected the Vigilance pedal button to the correct input on gamepad. Oh dear. Start slowing down for Atherstone.
We are now approaching Atherstone. Please mind the...
What's that on our left? Oh, it's a trailer park with trucks. I thought it was something else for a second. Alright, slow down. I've actually seen a Railfanning video at Atherstone, and I must say the station details are spot on. Like, wow. Coming in a little bit hot, but we're good. Slightly late too, but who cares? Where's that stop marker? Oh, it's there. Okay. Didn't look like your average stop marker.
This is Atherstone. Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. The next stop will be Nuneaton.
Alright, and then we've got 2 fixes for the Engineering Express pack Edinburgh Glasgow. Let's just watch this Pendo come by. Having rail singing on Preston Carlisle is going to be fun. Which, yeah. So yeah, a couple of fixes for Engineering Express. Fixed the data cord 4 key on both cabs of the Class 66, which were previously inputting the wrong value. Controls now display correct labels and operate as expected in both cabs. On the West Somerset Railway, fixed an issue that prevented wipers from clearing rain or snow. Next up, Nuneaton. And then we've got 4 more fixes in the patch notes. And yeah. But I'll do those once we get the announcements. How's frame rate?
Welcome
Still 45.
aboard
That's not
London
bad.
Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. We'll be calling at Nuneaton, Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London Euston.
Yep. Let's just wait for say it sorted.
Please familiarise yourself
there we go.
with the safety
Like
notices
clockwork.
displayed throughout the train.
Up to 75 miles an hour. Just wait for say it sorted to play.
This is British Transport.
Yep, there we
Police.
go.
If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016.
See it, say it, sorted. I'm so good. Anyway, there are a couple of fixes to the Class 805, but you will be very, very sad to hear that the cab textures that were recently broken by the previous update have not been fixed in this update, which is a major shame. Considering there's a mod to fix them on the Train Sim community website is pretty unacceptable. Anyway, got green. So there's a couple of fixes for the Class 805. Vigilance penalty brake now stays applied until the train fully stops, and fixed an issue so the vigilance system cannot be reset before the train comes to a full stop, so that's good. Now finally, last but not least, a couple of fixes for Stuttgart to Heilbronn. Wittenberger cab car can now correctly control the BR145 Expert and BR101 Expert locomotives, and update to ensure that the BR111 control remains fully functional. And that is the entire patch notes. Hang on, I actually want to check something real quick. So if I pause the game and check my recording software, we've been going for almost an hour. That's how long it took me to get through all of these patch notes. It's so big. Like, never mind. I'm not going to say that. We don't make nasty jokes around here. Oh, did I forget to turn the instrument lights on? I did. There we go. Instrument lights. Alright, let's just get up toward 75 miles an hour. That's so annoying about some stretches of line. Like, you're on the slow line and you're limited to 75, and a train that can do 110 while you've got trains passing you doing 125 on a track that has the exact same curvature and gradient as yours. Very annoying, but hey, it's how the rail line works. I'm not going to question it. Where are we, actually? Okay, we're about oh my goodness, we're only about halfway? That's insane. Okay, we do have a 30 limit coming into Nuneaton. That's interesting. I do like the 350 now. Like, these running sounds are a welcome addition, and I hope for the sake of the people who bought Birmingham to Crewe, I hope that these better sounds can get backported to the Stroke 2 and Stroke 3 from Birmingham to Crewe. I doubt Dovetail would put the work in to put it onto the Stroke 1, so I'm not even going to recommend that. But yeah. Hitting 40 FPS-ish, but I think that's with Nuneaton loaded in, so I think we'll get better FPS once we deload Nuneaton. Sorry, I just like sounding the horn. And you don't get the chance to do that too much on this route. No whistle boards. Nuneaton is a big station, so no wonder it's tanking my frame rate.
We are now approaching Nuneaton. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Right. Oh, nice little overbridge here. I honestly had not noticed that. That's the advantage of doing this route in a slow service. You can get to spot little details that you weren't able to if you're running express. Okay, we've got a Pendo stopped on the fast line, heading north. And what is that over there? Ah, it's a cross-country Class 170 Turbo Star. Neat. I forgot services stopped here. 300 yards, which you have a minute to do. That'll be fine. Yeah, we've got a green. There's the cross-country service. There he goes. It's a stroke 5 2-car. Neat. Yeah, I've actually gone along the Trent Valley line in real life in a Pendolino, but unfortunately, I did it in a Glasgow Central service. So the first stop on it was what I think it was Warrington Bank Quay. I think it was.
Nuneaton. Welcome aboard this London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston.
So I've never stopped at any of these stations in real life. I'll be able to say that I've stopped at Warrington Bank Quay and Wigan Northwestern and Preston, but yeah. The Glasgow Central services run direct from Euston all the way up to Warrington Bank Quay, which is really annoying if you want to like experience it in a stopper. Okay, wonder where this Pendo's off to. I'm sure we can have a look at the passenger information screen. Oh, Manchester. Next stop, Stoke, which I believe is actually a station in game. I believe it's part of Alan Thompson's Manchester Airport. No, that's Stockport. Stoke-on-Trent isn't in the game, I don't think. Someone will have to correct me in the comments on that. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. Yeah. Just wish I could run this service with TPWS, because it's really annoying not having that available. And I'm sure it's hitting my points for this service anyway. Alright. Right, next stop, Rugby in 14 miles. And then I believe it's Milton Keynes after that? Yes, it is. So we've got Rugby and Milton Keynes left to go. And then we've got like a 30 miles of not stopping.
Welcome aboard this London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. We'll be calling at Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London Euston.
So yeah, this service actually only has 3 stops left. Rugby, Milton Keynes, Central, Euston.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
And yeah, as I said, if you have the Class 805, this service is playable on West Coast Mainline South. So you could do a full LNWR crew to Euston.
Transport police. If you notice something out of the ordinary,
Are you serious? Right, full brakes.
text us on 61016.
Pantograph
We will
blocked.
get it sorted.
Ah.
That's 6.
First time I've had one of those.
See it, say it, sorted.
Right. Ah, that's really, really annoying. Right, pantograph. Down, please. But the one on the rear unit hasn't gone down. You can see it's still up. See if that fixes it. Fault has been fixed. Right. Thank goodness that didn't happen before. Right, come on. Full speed to Rugby. We've lost enough time as it is. With this tight timetable, we'll probably arrive at Rugby late now, but hey, that's what I get for turning on train faults. There goes a Pendo. Yeah, the Pendolino will be our next video, I think. I'll have to check my video schedule. But yeah, I'm planning on doing a full Pendo service Euston to Crewe. Stopping at Milton Keynes Central, of course. Oh. Right, we've got a green signal. Full speed ahead. I've got 13 minutes to do 13 miles, so I've just got to average above 60 miles an hour, and we should get there in time. We're only clear up to 75 though, which is annoying. Yeah. Also, I think I forgot to mention that I'm actually running the full timetable today on Trent Valley. There is a reduced timetable, but yeah, that doesn't have all the layers, so I absolutely try to run the full timetables when I can. Don't think there's any... Yeah, I think I have access to all the full timetables in the game. Well, except for routes that I don't own, of course. But yeah, there's only one route which only the PC players can have the full timetable, and console players can't. And I believe that's the Frankfurt S-Bahn route, a route that I absolutely refuse to buy to this day because it shafted console players. Still getting like 45 to 50 FPS, that's not bad. Come on, buddy. Let's get you to Rugby. And then we're running fast all the way down to Milton Keynes, and then if we wanted to, we could go all the way down to Euston, but yeah, I'm not doing that today. I will, at some point, do a full 350 service from Euston up to Crewe. You can basically count on that, but yeah. I might try and do Euston to Carlisle in only slow services, stopping as many places as possible, and see how long that takes me. It'd probably take around 6 hours, to be fair. Because I'd probably do like a local stopper, LNWR stopper from Euston to Milton Keynes, then change to a Crewe service, LNWR Crewe service, run that up to Crewe, then change over to Preston Crewe, and then hop in a Class 86, and then do a local stopper on both Preston Crewe and Preston Carlisle, stopping at Warrington Bank Quay, Wigan Northwestern, Preston, Lancaster, Oxenholme, Penrith, Carlisle. And yeah, that's 300 miles of total trackage. It is insane how much of the West Coast Main Line we actually have now. Like, genuinely, 300 miles of West Coast Main Line is insane. Considering that the only East Coast Main Line route is the appalling Peterborough to Doncaster route, which I refuse, to this day, I'm really annoyed that they didn't go to King's Cross and didn't do King's Cross to Peterborough. Instead did literally the most boring section of line that they could possibly do. There goes a Pendo. So cool how you can see the fast services overtaking you. It's so cool. Yeah, it's just really, really annoying. Under 10 miles to Rugby with 10 minutes to get there. Alright, oh, we have a 50 limit? Come on. Guess I'm just too used to running at 125. Bit of a shame we don't get any Cargo Line Volume 5 nuclear services, but I can understand why on this line, because they're not exactly era appropriate. The DRS Class 20 was withdrawn in 2019 or 2020, I believe, and this route is set in 2025, so it'd be like half a decade out of place. We have an AWS warning, and oh, that's for the 50 limit, right. Well, I'll take that under advisement. Yeah, I do like the Trent Valley line. Like, it's not the most distinctive stretch of track in the world, but it's the longest British route, and it allows you to go absolutely insane with the Pendolino and basically keep it at 125 almost all the way up. And like, yeah, those were my main complaints with West Coast Mainline South and Birmingham to Crewe. While you could use the Pendolino, it felt incredibly, like, it just felt like a caged animal, because what? We just got a TPWS penalty break? I isolated the system. What the heck? I think I'll have to isolate TPWS. Oh, I need to keep that in neutral. Certainly not making it to what's it called now? Right, overspeed. I want you to isolate you, and I want to have a brake release, please. How did we get a TPWS penalty brake with the TPWS isolated? This is insane! Let's try isolating the TPWS system manually. Where are you? Restricted drive. Aha! And also isolate the TPWS manually. And then let's go brake release. Okay, there we go. So now I just have to put the brake on just to make sure that we don't get any vigilance. And now we turn AWS back on and shut that cover.
TPWS and AWS operational.
Ugh. You gonna let us go, buddy? There we go. I had a TPWS isolation fault at this exact same spot while driving the 350/4 for my second attempt at recording this video. What the heck? How did I get a TPWS brake when I had the TPWS isolated? That's insane. Okay. Okay. It seems as though the 350 could rival the MTA M8 in terms of stupid, unnecessary emergency brake applications. If you remember the absolute craziness that the safety systems on the M8 were on New York Stamford, then yeah, it's just a bit of a shame because I actually am interested in the M8. It was made by Kawasaki, and it actually has a lot of internal components that are underlying internal components that are the same with Japanese units. So genuinely, like, the motor sound incredibly Japanese, and it looks Japanese too. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't. I refuse to buy New York Stamford because I've boycotted all Dovetail Games buying any more Dovetail Games products until they reform how they use the company, how they do the company, manage the company, I should say. But yeah, I'm still buying certain third-party products like Trent Valley, Crew Preston, Cumbrian Coast, Tadami, Thames Valley. And because, yeah, I'm interested in them. But the vast majority of stuff I'm just not buying. Even Neckartalbahn, like a route which I'm relatively interested in because it has a German steam locomotive and proper steam physics fixes that TSG are implementing. Like, I'm not even interested in that. Because, you know, I'm only buying the routes and DLCs which I absolutely want. Like, yeah, I think Preston Crew might become my favourite route, to be fair. Trent Valley's definitely in the top 10, like, no question about it. It's a very good route. But I can understand why All Aboard are stepping away from... I actually want to check, am I still recording? Yes, I am. My All Aboard studios are stepping away from long routes because, yeah, I imagine optimizing them on console is an absolute nightmare. And I'm glad All Aboard focus their optimizing specifically on the Xbox Series S because it is definitely the worst Gen 9 console. Sorry, Liam. Does simulation if you're watching this. But yeah, it just is. It has only 10 gigabytes of RAM. All the other Gen 9 consoles have, what is it? 16, like my computer does. So, yeah. Just can't cope with a lot of these more modern routes, which I'm not, yeah. But even Gen 9 consoles are struggling with this route. Quite a lot of out-of-memory crashes and things like that. Is that a Pendo on the slow line? It is. Nice. Yeah, the amount of traffic on this route is perfect, in my opinion. Despite the fact it's 108 miles of uninterrupted mainline, basically, it still feels busy. It's mostly just long-haul express trains, with the occasional local. But yeah, I love the West Coast Main Line. Second only to the Great Western Main Line in my opinion, but yeah, I am slightly biased because the Great Western Main Line is literally like, when I'm in the UK, the Great Western Main Line is my local one. But yeah, the West Coast Main Line is definitely nice. Right, 3.6 miles to go. Really hope we can get to Rugby on time. How long do we have at Rugby? 1 minute. So hopefully we can actually at least leave Rugby on time. It's so annoying how we're stuck at 75 for most of this run, but hey. Three miles to go with 2 minutes to get there. That's yeah, it's definitely a bit dicey now. Hopefully everyone saw the HST race video I did with Josh and Liam. It's the last video before this one. There's a 66 DB with some JNA wagons, I think. Neat. You don't see too many aggregates runs on this route. It's mainly containers. Which is slightly sad that we don't have a layer for Cargo Line Volume 3 for the FCA intermodal wagons, because those are definitely the superior product to the ancient FKAs, which have been in the game for years now. Like, literally since Great Western Express came out, like 8-9 years ago at this point. But, yeah, unfortunately, I think because of the PS5 add-on mounting bugs, which have been plaguing PlayStation users specifically, like the DLC can't call on more than a certain amount of DLCs before it just doesn't show them. I think it's 64 gigabytes if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Out of all the patches, I'm probably most excited for Crew Preston. Well, Crew Preston's not really part of the patch notes, so I'm not going to specify it, but yeah. If we can, yeah. I'm really excited for the new timetable on Blackpool branches. Like, this is something I've been begging for years at this point, for Just Trains to add West Coast Mainline AI. Oh, here comes the line in from Birmingham New Street. It left at Stafford and now it's joining back on. It would have made sense for West Coast Mainline South to go up to Rugby, because that's where Birmingham New Street services diverge. But unfortunately, yeah, West Coast Mainline South cuts off at Milton Keynes, which is a really weird place to cut the route coverage, but hey, at least Trent Valley sorted that out. Right, start slowing down for Rugby. Expecting a lower frame rate as we get into this area. Also, a bit of a weird omission from the timetable is probably the Alan Thompson Class 90, that I can understand why they omitted it, simply because it's absolutely awful. But it would make sense for it to appear since
Rugby. Please mind the gap when leaving the train, and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Precisely. Yeah, we're definitely going to be late, more than a minute late into Rugby. Thanks, train faults. Much appreciated. We've had like 5 door faults today. 4 or 5. But yeah, Rugby's our final stop before Milton Keynes Central. This run takes so long. Takes so long to do. That's a red signal, so I have to get below 15 miles an hour so TPWS doesn't trigger. But I think I've isolated it properly, so... Ooh, nice little air hiss from the brakes as I slammed on the brakes.
Welcome aboard this London North Western Railway service to London Euston. The next stop will be Milton Keynes Central.
Right, okay. Welcome to Rugby. Let's see if we can find anything interesting. Oh, we've got some terminating platforms. Got some... I believe this is where you can play the dispatcher scenario on this route. must say, it's really nicely detailed, and I do love that station canopy. Oh, and we can switch the DRA off. Full speed up to 75 and 110, finally. Leaving it precisely 1 minute late. Next and final stop of today's run, Milton Keynes Central in 31 miles. This service, as I will say again, this service is also playable on West Coast Mainline South in the Evero timetable from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston.
Service to London Euston. We'll be calling at Milton Keynes Central and London Euston.
Right, full steam ahead. Well, full power ahead.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
Hopefully we'll have our last see it, say it sorted. Oh! Abandoned bridge pillars. Neat. Alright, up to 100.
This is British Transport Police. If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
All the way up to 110 with 31 miles to go. Alright. Let's try and make up the time from that we lost. Will it acknowledge... Will we get a... But does it work? Does neutral sections work? No, it doesn't look like it. Well, I believe they work on the Evero, so maybe the 350 just doesn't have it. I love also, on the speedometer, how the 100 to 110 section is shaded in yellow, like, you're really pushing the limits of this train, buddy, be careful. Alright, we've got this little bit of track diverging. But, yeah, I hope someone at some point can do a West Coast Mainline North Carlisle to Edinburgh, Waverley and Glasgow Central, so we can finally have the entire West Coast Main Line. Because yeah, I would love to do a run up the whole West Coast Main Line, and we're only missing the section north of Carlisle up to Edinburgh, Waverley and Glasgow Central. It wouldn't be a short route by any means, but it would be a lot of fun to drive, and I'm sure. Oh, there's the neutral section warning sign. Oh, yes! It does work! Needle goes to 0. Let's see, does it re-establish itself? I believe it does it automatically. If you have any power running through the train on in the older 1980s era BR stuff, you do have to reset the circuit breaker. Okay, there we go. Just had to restore power there. I believe nice to have neutral section functionality. I believe, oh yeah, here's where the Northampton loop would be in real life, but we're bypassing it. 28 miles to go. Hopefully we don't get any more stuck pantograph issues, because yeah, that'd be very, very annoying. I wonder how I know All Aboard does instrument lighting quite well, as the Class 805 and 807 prove. Have they improved it on the 350? Because we do have a tunnel coming up, and I've got the instrument lights on now. Let's see if it actually does work properly. 110. Let's see. Ooh, nice little glow there. So, oh yeah, we can only have instruments. Okay. We have instruments and desk, and then also timetable as well. Okay, decent. Oh, this is the one with the overhead ones, isn't it? That's one of the things which a lot of people have been very happy about on this route. The light baking for tunnels is very, very well done, genuinely. 106 miles an hour. Can't imagine these things would be too comfortable at these higher velocities. Alright, 108 miles an hour. We are moving 58 frames a second. Dang! That's pretty impressive. 109, let's put it to notch 2. Zoom. Oh. Frame rate's not having a lot of fun at the moment. I think it's all the vegetation. Okay, now it's beginning to settle. 45, 46 FPS. Like, yeah. For this long into a TSW run, like, wow. Like, all aboard have done their homework for Birmingham crew in the Class 805, and they have optimized this the heck out of this route. Just a bit of a shame that, yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't really seem to have fixed the console blurries and crashing issues. "24 miles to go." It'll be weird approaching Milton Keynes Central, from the north. Yeah. I'm so excited for Blackpool branches to finally be brought up to AI modern just train standards with proper electric AI. Okay, green signal, and yet had an AWS magnet go off. Oh, 4-car 350. Finally get up to a decent speed. This service really has everything. It has high-speed sections between Crewe and Stafford, and Rugby and Milton Keynes, and yet in between Stafford and Rugby, you're running at slower speeds usually. Oh, and we have another neutral section. You're running at slower speeds, stopping at much more stations in between. It's a really neat service pattern. And then, yeah, once you get past Rugby, you're running fast, only stopping at Milton Keynes and Euston. Right, there we go. I think it must have been because I was taking power. The circuit breaker didn't reset automatically. I think that's something that they do on the IETs. Even if you're taking power, you don't. The power like resets itself and comes back. We are moving. 38 frames a second. Hey ho. Like 38 FPS is more than playable, I'll say. So hey, this route is just so well optimized. Like, I cannot give enough credit for all aboard to making this a pleasurable experience on my pretty old machine. "20 miles to Milton Keynes Central with 13 minutes to go." Pendolino? Haven't seen many Everos today. It's been mainly Pendolinos with a scattering of 350s and the occasional Evero. Oh my gosh, 50 FPS? Yeah, it's when the foliage gets close to the track that definitely the frame rate begins to drop, but yeah, like genuinely, like well done all aboard. Like, I think the only route which I could think of which is this well optimized is Liberec Starapaka, like, which normally runs in stations around 30 frames per second, but because of the amount of custom assets on that route, it just makes it makes it even like a smooth 30 FPS. But yeah, on this route, oh my goodness, it's so well optimized. Like, the only bits where I'm having low frame rate is you know, big stations like Nuneaton, Rugby, Stafford, Crewe, Milton Keynes, and that's only because there's a lot of trains and a lot of assets loaded there in comparison to just running along normally. Another tunnel. Gotta love that instrument lighting. It's not as amazing as the 805 or 807, but still does the job very nicely. Absolutely zooming. Oh yeah, we are motoring. So So we have 10 minutes, 30 seconds to get to Milton Keynes with 17 miles to go. This is actually my third attempt at recording this video. With both previous attempts, I got randomly TPWS braked for no reason. And even in this recording, I got TPWS braked at... what was it? Near Rugby, coming into that 50 limit, which is really annoying, despite the fact that I deliberately isolated TPWS to prevent that from happening. Yeah, apart from a few minor bugs, this route is honestly, like, top tier, like, genuinely. It requires quite a few layers in order to get the timetable, like, up to, you know, realistic levels, but hey, like, yeah, most people will have West Coast Mainline South and the Pendolino, and a lot of people have Birmingham to Crewe, so hey, and the 805, so yeah. Just running fast. Hard to believe that it's like 65 miles and and this train only has one stop for the entire way, just Milton Keynes Central and then terminating at Euston. These 350s are honestly pretty admirable because, like, they're really good at stopping surfaces and have powerful acceleration and braking, but they're also decent just for cruising. In that way, they are pretty similar to the Class 387, which is decent at stopping surfaces, but does excel at the express stuff. There's another 805, I believe that was. You can tell because 805s are 5-car, and 807s are 7 cars. Simple. Otherwise you'd struggle to tell between them because, yeah, they are borderline identical. But I do prefer the 807 because A, it's longer, B, it has the speed set feature implemented, which I would absolutely love to see all aboard backport that to the Class 805. But yeah, we'll see if that actually happens. Are we rejoining the Northampton Loop? Yes, we are. Here comes the Northampton Loop in from the left. Bit of a shame we don't have the Northampton Loop, but hey. We have the Trent Valley line as a route which I never ever thought would come to the game because it would be just too long. But, yeah. Who cares if the Northampton Loop isn't in? Like, it doesn't really add much to the gameplay. Oh, whoops, wrong button. There we go, I need notch 2. Under 10 miles to Milton Keynes Central, with 6 minutes to get there. Try and leave braking to the last minute. I love how fast we can go in these 350s. Like, the 350 express services on when we just had West Coast Mainline South felt incredibly, you know, like, underused, because, like, you could do, like, the local stoppers from Euston to Tring or Euston to Milton Keynes Central, as per real life, but unfortunately, like, if you wanted to do an express run, you could do, like, Euston to Milton Keynes in one go, you doing a cruise service, but then you could only play it for half an hour, and then you had to wave it goodbye as it vanished off the map. But now, if you have the right add-ons, you can just continue all the way up to Crewe, which is absolutely excellent. How's the frame rate doing? 47 frames a second. That's really decent this long into a run in TSW. Like, genuinely. Wow. Just wow. It's a bit annoying how the 350 doesn't have a speed set, which would be coming quite handy for these express runs, but I can understand why the 350s don't have it in real life. Just sit unused unless you were doing an express run. Right, 5.5 miles to go to Milton Keynes Central Platform 4. I think we might actually make it on time despite departing Rugby a minute late. We'll see. Another 350. Since it's on that line, I think that might be one of the services heading up to Birmingham New Street. Three and a half miles to go. Try and leave braking to the last minute. Coming up on Wolverton, which we don't stop at because I believe only the Birmingham New Street services stop here. Yeah, it's insane that it took me an hour to get through all of those patch notes. Absolutely insane. Coming up on Wolverton. Oh, not again. Not now. Right, full brakes. Can I raise the pantograph? Oh, fault has been fixed. Okay. Turns out following the advice to stop the train doesn't really... Okay. At least I know that for the future. Stopping the train to try and fix the pantograph issue doesn't need to happen. Two miles to Milton Keynes Central. Oh, double yellow. Only 2 pantograph faults for this entire one. All aboard definitely do need to tune how often faults happen because, yeah, these faults definitely happen way too often, even on... And I've got them set on low frequency in the settings, by the way. I still can't believe we had TPWS application, despite the fact I deliberately isolated the system. That's nuts.
We are now approaching Milton Keynes Central. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Right. It looks as though we'll only be arriving slightly late into Milton Keynes. I believe we've actually made up the time, which I'm staggered about, despite having a pantograph fault. There's a stroke 1, you can tell because it has the branding. Oh, there's a road. Is that grass supposed to be there? Alright, just make sure we don't get a TPWS application. Very nervous that it will activate now despite me isolating the system. I'm just worried. Alright, there's the stop marker. First local run on the Trent Valley complete. And the passenger doors become stuck. I'm not going to bother to fix it, okay? It can just stay stuck. Let the passengers deal with it. I've had enough of dealing with faulty doors at this point, okay? Alright, and then the service will continue on to West Coast Mainline South and go all the way to Euston. Shutting doors. There we go. No points lost to speeding. That is really impressive. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. We got a pretty accurate stop at Stafford. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then hit that notification bell if you are subscribed. If you want to chat with me directly, then you can join my Discord server, which is linked in the description. And if you want to support me, please do become a YouTube member, which starts out from less than £2 a month and really does help me out. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video, everyone. Let me know also what your favorite part of the giant patch is, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.